Hello! I recently saw Mile 22 in theaters, and I have some thoughts I'd like to share with you. This is the latest Peter Berg Mark Wahlberg collaboration following Deepwater Horizon and Patriots Day, two movies I really liked, especially Deepwater Horizon. So I was excited for this movie a little bit, and it ended up being more aptly titled Wasted Potential, the movie. I say this for a couple reasons. Firstly, as I already mentioned, Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg have shown that they are great collaborators and they've made some fantastic stuff. So that should have panned out a little bit more in this movie. I don't think it did. Secondly, you got Mark Wahlberg playing the fast talking, witty trash talker guy. The type of character he won the Oscar for back in The Departed. He plays that just beautifully in this movie as well. But they also heap on a bunch of exposition about how just masterful he is in combat. He's just the smartest, most efficient guy for the job. And they tell you this. They don't show it ever in the movie. He's completely worthless as anything but a trash talker. Those scenes are a lot of fun. He has some great put downs, verbal destruction that is just a lot of fun to watch. But he's all bark and no bite, despite the movie wanting to make you believe otherwise by telling you. They don't show it. His character's super lame in this movie and really kind of a jerk. Not many redeeming qualities to him ever. He's a jerk through and through. It's funny when he's being a jerk to his the bad guys, but he's the same way to his teammates. And you're like, why am I rooting for you? It was a strange misfire for, like I said, a collaboration that's worked for two movies. It was a strange choice. Thirdly, and most importantly, in this viewer's opinion, is you cast the star of the Raid movies, whose name I'm gonna mess up, but it's like Uwais, something like that. The Indonesian star from the Raid movies. Movies I love, a couple of my favorite action movies of all time. You cast that man in this movie, and you do right by getting him in situations constantly in the movie where he's forced to fight someone hand to hand, which is where he excels. He's a fine actor, but man, when he's fighting someone, the choreography is just so flawless. It's so much fun to watch the fight scenes with this guy. You cast him in this movie, you put him in situations where he's fighting people hand to hand, and then you cut 1,000 times per punch. Seriously, not since the last Taken movie have I found myself in the theater throwing my hands up in confusion and doing one of these because I just don't know what is going on. It's just the camera's shaking and it's like right up against the actors, and all you can tell they're fighting because they have punching sound effects at least, so you can tell someone's punching someone. But multiple times in this movie, I was just like, "What is going? Who's hitting who? What's going on?" And that's tragic in any action movie, but when you do it with Iko, the guy from the Raid, the guy who's showcased his talents in two of the Raid movies where the camera's back and there's several unbroken seconds constantly in the movie of just fighting. You can see it unfold and it's beautiful. You got this guy's movies to watch. You see how great he is, and then you cut his action scenes all to hell. And there are brief moments where it's more than 1 second of fighting, and you're like, wow, that's great. The choreography is amazing. Oh my god. And then it's cut. And then it's all out the window. And it's just unforgivable. You cast that guy and do that to his action scenes. Couldn't believe it. That was the most devastating part about the movie by far for me. It was funny, kind of as a sum up of my feelings of the wasted potential in this movie. There's this one scene where they show it's like security cam footage, where like the screen's divided into 4 quadrants, and on the top right of the screen is Iko's character just kicking ass but it's all shaky. It's like all really like blurry. You can't tell what's going on. And then under it is Mark Wahlberg in the lamest shootout ever, where he's shooting that he's like shooting over his shoulder down the hall, and then he's it's like the least badass thing, and it's like just to have it on the same TV monitor, showing it back to back. It's like, yep, that's the my problem with this movie right there on in one couple second scene. I laughed out loud. Well, listen, I know I've been trashing this movie, but all of what I said being true for myself, it's a fine time at the movie theater. You know, especially if you don't go in with the expectations that I have. If you don't go in thinking, man, I loved Peter Berg, Mark Wahlberg collaborations that have happened so far, I hope this one's as good. If you don't have that feeling, if you're not a massive fan of the Raid and the star actor in those movies and his fighting, if you're not a huge fan of that, and you don't go in just hungry to see more on-screen violence from this guy, then you're not going to be disappointed. If you take those big things out of the picture that were my big issues, then it's an enjoyable movie. It's really fast-paced. The action's fine. It's just for the hand-to-hand stuff, you really just want the camera to stay steady. But it's a fine, enjoyable movie. If you saw it like matinee and you didn't have high expectations, you'd probably enjoy yourself pretty well. I can't say that I did too much. It was an I saw it in the morning, and I'm glad I did. And for that, it was fine. There were enjoyable moments, but like I said, just wasted potential. Could have been so much better, so much more entertaining. So there you have it. I think it's a Peter Berg movie that's closer to Battleship than it is to Deepwater Horizon. And take that for however you feel about those movies. But yeah, could have been so much more. They could have kept the camera still, let the shots drag on for more than a split second. Would have been top notch. Yeah, I'll give it. I'm feeling generous. I'll let it squeak by with like a 60%, just out of the F pit, because it's a passably enjoyable movie. I just went in with higher expectations because of the reasons I've already mentioned, and was let down. If I didn't have those expectations, it would have been fine. It was fine. I'm being too harsh on it for my own personal reasons, but yeah, that's about it. I'll talk to you next week with whatever movie I see. Bye.